Hey gang, Mocha Boy here. Welcome back. So we've got one replay from one of the newer players. This replay is going to come from Apollo's. He just wanted to pop up his troop counts here and troop levels so you can see what we're working with. He's still fairly green, still fairly new. A lot of the high-end game doesn't start until your heroes are in their 2020 range, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a lot of fun up until then, because it just means that you have a smaller margin for error. Now he did try a CB Law Loon here, cold-blooded Law Loon, so one golem. Right off the bat, and again, Apollo's take this as constructive criticism. Right off the bat, what we saw was where's that golem coming out? So yeah, right off the bat, one of the first mistakes that I see a lot in Clan Wars is jumping your kill squad, or at least the tank portion of the kill squad, into the base before the DPS can catch up to it. By running the golem in, basically into that first layer, the DPS behind him still has to process all of those trash buildings before they can get in and start taking down the actual defenses. So part of the issue there is that once this golem comes within that first layer, now he's in range of this expo, that cannon, and possibly even some other defenses. So he's taking unnecessary DPS. He's taking unnecessary damage before he really should. Anyway, easy fix. All you have to do is delay those wall breakers or delay those jumps until the trash buildings go down. It's one of the key things to remember. And if you've seen, like, we put out a few guides on how to set up guardrails. You never want to hit the buildings that you want. You always want to try to leave a breadcrumb, a breadcrumb of buildings, a trail of breadcrumbs of buildings for the heroes to go. Like those buildings will ensure that the heroes target this, and then the next closest possible thing to target will be that. But if you leave nothing for them to target, there's always the possibility that you could end up mistargeting, and then they could go to the outside and you lose your heroes. So that's the first thing. For the funnels, you only need a couple of wizards doubled up on a single structure. That's usually enough to either one-shot the building or even two-shot the building. You don't need three, and a lot of the success that you get with kill squads is minimizing the investment of troops and making sure that everybody has a job and that everybody survives to do their job. Now, as far as the attack phase of this, you've got your 2 rages, you've got your 3 hastes. This at this point, with the air defenses out on the exterior, this really is just all about dropping in your loons. You're doing precision drops of your loons, and this is where some of the skill comes in. You've got to be able to learn to target. Let me just pause here for a second so you can see what I'm talking about. It's especially when you have lava hounds tanking for you, and you've got spells to speed your troops into the base. That leaves you free to do things like targeted drops. That means 2 loons per defense. 2 loons is usually enough to one-shot these defenses. And again, like I saw you spread out a little bit of a fan here. That's fine, but you want to get into the habit of doing those double tap drops to target these buildings. And I'll give you another little trick here. One of the things that you'll learn as you're learning La Lune attacks is that the order that you deploy the balloons in will affect the direction that they path in. So, for instance, if I were to drop these 2 loons here first to target that guy, and then these 2 loons maybe about a second or 2 behind them to go after this guy, what'll happen is these guys will flow in here and then hook this way, and they'll continue to move on that way. Conversely, if you were to drop these 2 guys first and then those guys behind, they'd hit this wizard tower and then veer left. I mean, this is just for the sake of argument. Let's just say there were 2 defenses and you wanted to actually path your loons in one direction or the other. The order of execution, the order that you drop your loons in, will dictate the direction that they actually fly in after they drop their bombs. This is important because you want everything moving in one direction. The last thing you want loons to do is to do this, go out this way, go out that way, and then double back, and then have to go that way. That's definitely not the type of pathing that you want to do. So when you're planning your drops, you always want to plan them so that troops or buildings will go down in a specific order, so that the next target is along the path that you actually is along your flight plan. So for instance, again, just just to point out an example here, if this one were to go down first, and then you've got these guys coming in here, these guys would veer up this way, and then these guys would flow that way. If you drop just loons here, they would just continue to go down this path, like one giant string of balloons would just go straight down that path. So again, it's one of those things that you pick up after. We take it for granted because we've run these attacks so many times that we kind of instinctually know that the order that you drop those loons in will affect their pathing. But it's one of those things that you'll learn, after you've hit these types of bases like 100 times, and that's partly what these exercises are designed to do. So, again, just take it as constructive criticism. It wasn't a terrible attack. There's definitely a lot to improve for these types of attacks. Not the least of which is making sure that your kill team actually gets into the core of the base. So remember, delay your wall breakers, delay those jumps until the trash buildings are down. And then that gets them into the core. You did take down the AQ, but you did not. You didn't manage to get one of the air defenses. And this was definitely a close attack. I'll be looking forward to seeing some more of your attacks. Thanks.